What's up and welcome to another episode of The Blender on scenestr TV. First up, Dasha chats with LA-based indie electronic act, The Naked and Famous. Then James zips across to the UK where he catches up with party funk hip-hop duo The Allergies.
Later on, Jessie catches up with artistic director Kris Stewart of Brisbane Powerhouse, where the venue is now open and the lights are on. Then James fires into a combat zone where he reviews Call of Duty Warzone Verdansk Air, the video game.
Finally, we wrap things up for some life hacks with comedian Ting Lim. But first, here's Dasha catching up with Alisa and Thom from The Naked and Famous.
Benedict.
Oh, hi. Hello. Hi, Benedict.
He's very pretty.
My cats are, they were rescued from a parking lot. My girlfriend rescued them when she was I don't know, 5-7 years ago, something like that. And they were already kittens. So they're kind of like a little, they're not feral, but they're the scaredest, they're true scaredy cats.
This one that was a stray was living under my apartment and took me a whole year for him to even approach me and let me come near him. Well, as much as I wish we could talk about animals for the whole interview, I do have to ask you about your album. It spans such a range of topics and themes like death, grief, love, mental health, relationships, and a whole bunch more, just to name a few. Can you tell me a bit more about the writing process for the album?
Our idea of music is always that they should be substantial in their topics, so they have to come from some personal place. And generally speaking, the only things that I feel like we think are worth writing about are usually these big topics, things that happen to us, big heartbreaks or
personal experiences.
Yeah, deep personal experiences. So yeah, I think that's just unavoidable for us to kind of write stuff like that. The actual writing of each song usually is written on the day. But the struggle that we run into a lot is finishing a song. So we might get, 2 verses and 2 choruses and just kind of run out of steam, and we love it, but there's a couple of placeholder lyrics and blah 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 blah. And then from that point, it's it takes us a long time to finish it, to take it to the finish line. Monument was the one of the first ones that we wrote. We loved the song. It just didn't sound like a new thing for us. The original demo sounded very, very old, Naked and Famous. And then what was another track? The Sound of My Voice. That's a very old song, but we found a new path for it.
The main difference with this record compared to all the other ones is that Passive Me Aggressive You, Rolling Waves, and Simple Forms, they were all created in a very insular way. Thom and I hadn't done a lot of co-writing or collabing with outside writers or outside co-producers, and I feel with Recover, it was more of a community effort. So that was the main difference between this record and all the other records. And I feel if it weren't for those friends coming in, I don't know if we would have finished this record. Thom and I have been writing together for the last decade. That's a really long time to be working with someone, and when you have new people in the mix, you get given an opportunity to be your best creative self in the room.
So what kind of people joined you? I read that Lunar Shadows joined you for a little bit.
Lunar Shadows and a really old friend called Simon Oscroft, who Thom actually went to high school with.
Yeah, he was an old friend of mine. We were best buddies in really terrible bands when we were teenagers.
You would always joke about how you were each other's nemesis.
We were total rivals. We were best friends and then massive rivals. My band's better than your band. Simon has just sort of entered the world of producing and co-writing for other artists, and he's becoming a full-time producer. So we were his one of his first bands that he worked with. The funny thing about the whole the writing circuit or the music industry that Los Angeles has to offer is that it's a bit ridiculous sometimes. It's both great, but this is where all the stereotypes and ridiculous excessive entertainment industry jokes originate from.
Thom and I can have default settings when we make music together, and we go down the same neural pathways of making a song and putting together music for it. And it's almost we were okay, we need something new. We need some new ingredients.
I don't have a band to babysit anymore, which is great. So I don't have to find everyone a job, which is a very different, very freeing in one way, because it doesn't matter. There's no oh, how are we going to perform this, or what's everyone going to do on stage? Just whatever, this sounds great, let's roll with it. This was great. This was actually easier to produce than other records.
There was a period during the process where we suspended our friendship for 3 months. We didn't speak to one another just because he and I just had our own ideas on what we thought was the best thing to do going forward with these songs.
So brutal. She says that suspended our friendship.
So it's obviously a pretty weird time to be releasing an album since touring isn't really a thing at the moment, unfortunately. So how are you feeling about it and how are you kind of coping with the situation?
I feel gutted about it. I feel like that's just a huge part of being a performer that allows you to feel connected to other people who are connected to the music, and I just feel gutted I don't get to experience that on this record.
Yeah, devastated in one sense because it was a huge part of what we're familiar doing, which is making a record and going out and then spending a good year promoting it and just trying to get it out into the world as much as possible. You know, like some of these kids, they're on Instagram and that, like, they build a following before they're like have a good song, right? So we're old school. We're like, no, you build the art first and then you can promote the art. So we were really like kind of ready to lean into that and do that. So it's been a bit disorienting and also quite difficult to have that kind of financial thing just ruined. The best thing for us to do right now is we're just going to move on to making new music. Well,
I'm excited to hear it. I'll let you go to your next call. It was really great to chat to you so briefly. Thanks so much. All right, have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
We've got Thom and Alisa are friends again. Now with the release of their LP Say the Word, just released, James logged in for a chat with one half of the Allergies, DJ Moneyshot.
We're here for the blender with DJ Moneyshot from Bristol, one half of the Allergies. And you're about to have your new album drop, Say the Word. Obviously, you've been in the band, The Allergies, but you're a renowned DJ in your own right as well, and been keeping the deck spinning over there with your webcam jams as well. How's it been not being in the clubs and having to do it all online instead?
Well, like a lot of DJs, have had to pivot to a different business model, even though we do it for free, so classic. Yes, we're doing the webcam jams, which is it's Twitch. If anyone goes on twitch.tv, it's a place where people watch people gaming for several hours. But a lot of DJs have moved on to this platform because they can stream themselves cutting it up and their fans can have a little conversation in the chat room.
In Australia, we've had a bit of controversy in the last few weeks because in Adelaide, where I'm from, they've said you can have the nightclubs open, but you can't drink while dancing at the same time. I don't think that'd work very well in England, would it? With your new single with the Cuban brothers, Let Them Know, that could be a criminal offence playing that, because you get too many people on the dance floor too close to each other. And
wow, exactly. If our music is bringing people together, which in this climate is the last thing you want, so nobody buy the album, or if you do, listen to it in some kind of individual isolation pod.
Really, even if they can't be socialising, it's happy music instead of Joy Division, you know, which I love anyway. But
there's no shoegazing, trench coaty, paint your bedroom black and get your fingernails done type stuff on the album, unfortunately. But it is a little splash of Sonic Sunshine from the cover inwards. Look at that. I mean,
oh yeah, well
that just fills your eyeballs full of love. And for those of us who've paid for the full colour TV licence, there it is in blistering orange. I mean, I come from an era of staring at the liner notes, looking at the picture. A lot of these people, you wouldn't know much about them because they wouldn't get much magazine play. So you'd have to kind of find out who they were from this. So we get to put little thank you notes in there, and you get to read who's on it. You get to find out who the samples are. Even if people aren't busting this on their turntable, they're sticking it on their wall. So
excellent, and it's never a more important time to be buying albums of artists as well, because there's no live gigs or anything like that. So unless you're buying band T-shirts or something like that, it's the only way that you're getting revenue, unless you're getting a trickle from Spotify or YouTube or whatever.
That's it. You know, we've got Patreon, patreon.com/allergies. People kind of support us, so God bless all those in the Patreon posse there. And the new album comes out, so people can support us with that. And there's T-shirts and you bundle in stickers. Everyone's still working full tilt, so it's nice that there are ways of reaping back a bit of the reward without having to go on the road. This whole thing was going to be toured, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get as far as Australia. I mean, that'd be amazing.
Do you get the full live band when you take it on the road, or?
Me and Adam Rackaby, the other half of the Allergies, who's not here at the moment, we both go out on the turntables playing instrumental versions of the tracks, which are then supplemented with our rapper Andy Cooper, rapping, of course, a female vocalist called Marietta Smith, who's on the album. She's blaring out her pipes, and then Mr. Woodnote, Australian sax supremo, and then we're cutting it up Andy's also playing percussion. And then we're live remixing the tracks and dropping in larger samples and doing extended cut sections. So it's like a surround sound Technicolor remix, revisit director's cut version of the albums. Maybe next year.
Andy Cooper from Ugly Duckling. You've worked with lots of different collaborators over the years, but he's been a constant. How's he like to work with?
Amazing from the get-go, and just like putting a couple of instrumentals his way via a kind of like, hello, introductory email to him being... You know, you go to bed, leave him a note, you wake up, you got one off him, ideas about how to work the album. He's essentially a third member, and he's like a multi-instrumentalist, so amazing to work with.
You like your horns section as well, and so the Cuban brothers as well, what were they like to work with?
Well, that was just Miguel Montavani, but it sounds like they're all in the room because of the harmonies and everything, but he was amazing to work with. I think he was on tour with Yoda in the UK, and people got in touch with us. But yeah, mad supportive. Any notes you give him, he'll be able to change and flip some ideas.
Old school hip hop, golden age hip hop's major influence of yours. Who else were some of your biggest influences?
Well, all the classic beat makers of the golden age, really, from you kind of Marley Marls all the way to DJ Premier. But definitely that cut and paste aesthetic that the Beastie Boys were using on their second album with producers like the Dust Brothers. That sonic collage that then you saw around the same time with people like Prince Paul. So producers of that caliber, but yeah, definitely the boom bap era. Always keep an ear out for what's new, but definitely an aesthetic that is truer to that style of beat making has always got my ears pricked up anyway.
Hopefully we get you out here, and hopefully we've got the virus kind of under wraps here, so we might be having live tours again soon. You know, who knows? But it'll be great to have you here.
Just getting around Australia would be amazing with the band. Yeah, I think our music would be absolute purpose built to be going off down there. Been over there a couple of times playing, and the reception's always been brilliant. The atmosphere's always been wonderful. The crowds have always been passionate. If we do get out there, come and support, and if not, pick up the album. You might like it.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and as I said, we've got the fingers crossed. And either way, the album it's got the artwork, it's got the pickup sound that everyone needs at this time, and so why wouldn't you want that on your shelf?
It's a big warm hug for the ears.
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak, and it's got to stay safe so you can come out and tour.
That's right. Everyone rubber up, stay safe, double bag it, and we'll see you all soon on one side of the earth or the other. Let's do this. The Allergies for 2020, 2021, till infinity. Much love. James, thank you for taking the time out.
My pleasure.
Peace.
I wonder what DJ Moneyshot was drinking out of his mug. Brisbane Powerhouse are opening their doors for a bunch of live theatre and music performances in an initiative they're calling Lights On. I spoke with the venue's artistic director to find out some more. Joining me today is Brisbane Powerhouse artistic director Kris Stewart. How you doing, Kris?
Hey, good. This is great.
So, Lights On, first of all, an appropriate title and a fantastic initiative. So what exactly is going on at Brisbane Powerhouse at the end of July?
It will be 131 days between the last performance at Brisbane Powerhouse and our next one. In that 131 days, it also included our 20th birthday where we were dark, which was a bit sort of weird and sad. Once we got a sense, though, of things kind of, at least in Queensland, sort of slowing down and having the ability to reopen again in a COVID-safe way, we just thought we should leap on it. So we've transformed the venue into sort of tables of 2 and 4. You come with someone, you crack a bottle of wine, and then we wanted to program these iconic Brisbane companies and artists. And that's probably been the last 6 weeks, I guess, has been this amazing sprint towards reopening the venue with these great companies.
And there's quite a breadth in the genres that are coming back to perform. So, you've got circus, ballet, cabaret. For those who are unaware of the Powerhouse, what makes the Powerhouse the perfect place for all of these kinds of performances?
The Powerhouse is a converted coal-fired power station. It was built in the 20s and sort of functioned through to the 60s. And then for the, 20-odd years, it was pretty much just left abandoned. People would break in and graffiti on the walls and throw raves and do all sorts of stuff. And then in the late 90s, they decided to reclaim it as an arts venue and kept a lot of the art that was made in those 20 years was allowed to stay in the building, on the walls, and kind of the fabric of who we were. So it's got this really kind of cool vibe, and it's not built to be a theatre. It's built to be a power station. When it became an arts centre, one of the things that was really important to us was that it kind of has a democratic vibe to it. Like it's a very big tent kind of place. Music and dance and comedy and theatre and musical theatre and visual arts. It tries to do a lot of things.
So why do you think that witnessing live theatre is such an integral sort of element of everyday life for so many of us?
We've been reminded of it in a time of physical distancing that we've had, that you might want to be physically distanced, but I don't think people in their soul want to remain socially distant. We want to be socially connected. And it's been great. Can you hear my dogs barking outside? Is that
a little bit, yes.
Great, good. That's what dogs do in Brisbane. They're bloody getting at it outside. It's fantastic. This is the spirit of live interviews. It's fantastic. Come on, you come up here with me. Come on, we'll go on the telly. Here we go. We're missing being in rooms with each other. That's why we really wanted to reopen. Theatres need to be theatering, you know? We need to open these places up and get people back in there. We don't want it to be like you've come to a theatre, but it's just really empty. We tried to really reimagine what the experience can be. We tried to work out a way, if this is the new reality, how can we make this experience as exciting and different as possible? The first three were all sort of like physical performance. So Circa, which is one of the world's great circus companies, Queensland Ballet and Briefs Factory. And for all of them, they sort of realised, look, it's not going to be 30 people in a kick line on a stage together for a little while, but that's okay. Yep. There's still a lot that we can do in solos and duets and more sort of personal and you know, just sort of beautiful, eloquent, simple performance. So the stuff that the Queensland Ballet created, you can go down there, you can go on the ground. They all worked in isolation together and created, and first put them actually as videos they all made, and now they're doing the live version of them all that everyone's getting a chance to see and experience, which I think is really exciting. Similarly, Circa has been, they, for one of the first time in years, had all of their performers, which were normally touring internationally, all had to return to Brisbane. More than 2 full companies of sort of acrobats and circus performers. So they just started making this because people need to perform. The amount of audience interest has been really strong, and we're about to put 2 more music events on sale sort of today-ish. One is the QSO with Thom, who also Brisbane-based, but one of the best, probably absolutely one of the best sort of beatboxers in the world. So that sort of fusion's really interesting. Yeah. And we're working with Q Music and Robert Forster from the Go-Betweens to do something with more sort of like with them and Robert, but also a bunch of emerging songwriters and award winners in the Queensland Music Awards over the last few years. Like we've done with Physical for the first 3 weeks, what does music then become for the next couple? And I think that's going to be a really great cross-section of the kind of things people are making in Brisbane itself.
You've summed it up perfectly, and you know, thanks so much for joining me for chatting, and I'm very much looking forward to the rebirth of live theatre, as I'm sure many people are, and as you've said, the ticket sales are doing so well, so can't wait.
Look forward to seeing you there, Jesse.
Thanks, Kris. Cheers.
I don't know who was more excited about lights on in that chat, Kris or his dogs. With season 4 of Warzone now live, we find James in the middle of the action of Call of Duty's Verdansk Air.
A new season of Call of Duty has arrived. For me, a Call of Duty noob, it's sitting duck season. For everyone else, it's been season 4 of Call of Duty Warzone for about a month, and changes are afoot in Verdansk, a fictional major city in Kastovia, where I imagine their leaders rule for life and ride shirtless on horseback. That's going to get me killed, isn't it, Vladimir? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, what's included in this update? There are new playable operators, including Captain Price, who looks a little bit like Dum Dum Duggan from Captain America. Not my cup of tea, though. I prefer this guy. Or this girl. Anyone that's not British, really. I don't forgive them for Gallipoli still. Anyway, there's new maps and some survivalist modes where you're stripped of your machine guns and grenades and armed with just a pistol and a knife in All or Nothing, or a gun with a single bullet in one chamber. You can't just spray and pray in these modes and really need to get your stealth on. You can also pimp your ride. Call of Duty is a pro sport now, so you better believe there's minutiae being discussed on subreddits about the location of default gun drops and whether the new bounties are good for the game or not. Seriously, Call of Duty talk is a new language, like Vulcan or Klingon or Kardashian. But since we're currently trapped in our COVID bunkers, what better time to immerse yourself in this expansive world? If you can survive in Warzone with just a pistol and a knife,
then I like your chances of getting that last roll of toilet paper at Woolies. 3.5 stars.
If James goes missing, someone call the Russian embassy. Or not. Who doesn't love a good life hack? Now, because you can never have too many of them, here are 5 with Singaporean-born Brisbane comedian Ting Lim.
Hi, I'm Ting. I'm a Brisbane comedian and local legend. Everyone now knows I'm a Mormon. What can I say? So today I'm gonna give you my top 5 useless life hacks. Like me, you probably Marie Kondoed your house during lockdown. I asked everything I own if they sparked me joy. Nothing replied, except my partner, right? So if you have a bunch of stuff you need to get rid of, you don't have to go down to your local Vinnie's. Do what I do. Give back to the local community. Throw it into your neighbor's yard. If you need to talk to someone and no one is available, call the local council hotline and start listing trumped up charges against them. Oh my god, you will have such a great conversation. Make sure you call yourself Karen though. If you have no access to alcohol or pingers but want a sweet dopamine rush, do what I do. Go to the beach, swim to New Zealand. That intense workout will give you the dopamine rush you always wanted. And you could always, just get it there. If you are drowning in debt and you want a way out, don't find a job. Pick your own death. It is the quickest way to end all your debts. If you ever need a glove but don't have one, use a condom, right? They're built for protection. And this approach is versatile, right? If you ever need a condom but don't have one, use a glove, right? All you have to do is take the finger bits, snip, snip. There you go. Secure it with a rubber band like the way your ancestors would. Give it a bow tie. Be romantic.
Ooh, I'm never looking at gloves the same way again. Thanks, Ting.
That's us for another episode, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more action from Australia and beyond. See ya.
Bye, guys.